Hey everybody, welcome back to the Unshaken Truth Podcast. I'm your host Pearson, and I have a friend with me named Channing. Channing, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. This is another episode of the Fresh Faith series, and I'm so excited for this episode as well. Channing, how are you doing today? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet. So we're going to talk about Channing's testimony and how Jesus has changed her life, and it's going to be a very exciting episode. So Channing, have you always grown up here in Wiley?
I have. I've lived here my whole life. I lived in Murphy for the first 12 years of my life, and then I moved all over Wiley for a little bit, and then I was in Prosper for a year, but I always went to Wiley schools, so
Yeah.
I basically just say that I stayed here my whole life.
That's awesome. And now what was growing up like?
Well, I grew up in a very nice home. I have a brother. My parents, they got divorced whenever I was 9, so up until about then, my life was, very normal, a very average American lifestyle, and then after that, it was still pretty good. I lived with both my mom and my dad for a few years, and now I'm here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And now, did you grow up going to church? Did you grow up having Jesus in your life, in your family, any of that?
No, not at all. I had maybe gone to church, twice in my whole life before the age of, 14. It was just not something me and my family did at all.
Did you, know of Jesus or know, did you have an idea of it or anything like that?
No, I was literally completely, lost. I knew nothing, at all. And it was really, I, didn't know anything. And I just felt kind of stupid because I was like, oh, all my friends know this stuff. But, I just was never introduced to it. So it's I had no understanding of it at all.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Now, what was life before you came to Christ? Because, obviously you just said that you had no knowledge of Jesus or had no introduction to him. So, but now, you're on the other side of that. So what was life like looking back on it now? What can you see? What was some struggles? What was some things that yourself now would look back and say, I don't want that?
I was just a very angry person. I was the type to always talk bad about somebody. It was cool to talk bad about somebody, to be mad, to go through all these things, and it was cool to post it online or do whatever. And I was just filled with anger, and I didn't really know, nothing was, satisfying me. Nothing made me happy. I was really, my freshman year, 8th grade year, and maybe 7th grade, I don't really remember. It was, really, the worst season of, my life. I was very depressed and, anxious all the time. And, it was just, I don't know, I was just very upset and angry, all the time at everyone, at everything at my life. And I never was oh my gosh, God, you're so bad. Why is my life like this? I never even thought about it like that because I'd never thought, about a God, you know? Yes, I had heard of Jesus, but it was, it was not, I believed in it, you know?
So how did you come to an understanding that there was a God? Had you always, believed in a God or just believed that a God exists, or were you just I don't care?
No, I definitely believed a God exists because looking at the earth, this is my the universe cannot just create itself. It can't just, nothing cannot form everything. And so I always knew that there was a God. I just never knew which God I believed in. So I think it's called agnostic or something. That's how I was. And so
it's agnostic is you believe that there could be a God out there, but you don't really care to search for him.
Yeah.
Or you don't really
know. And that's exactly how I was. I knew that there was a God. I just didn't know what my belief was on it.
Gotcha. Cool. And so you said you were very angry. Was there anything else? Were you empty? Were you just searching for meaning?
Yeah, I was very empty. I didn't really I felt very unloved. I just felt there was nobody that truly loved me for who I was. And so I just felt very empty. I felt unlovable. I felt sad just all the time. Yeah.
And now let's get to the fun part. So
yeah.
what led we got all the sad soapy stuff out of the way. What really led you to knowing who Jesus truly is?
Well, it was the end of my freshman year. And like midway through my freshman year, I'd say I started to like question more like about my faith. Like, do I believe in something else? Like, do I believe in something more? And I there's this thing at our high school Fellowship of Christian Students. Ethan talked about it
Yeah,
on
Ethan,
his
on
podcast.
his episode. Yeah.
I went like a few times my freshman year, but like I really only went for the food. And
Yeah.
so and so but I was still like questioning it. I was like, maybe this is something I should look more into. But then I had like lost so many of my friendships like that year, freshman year. It was rough because I was an angry person, so I took it out on them. And so I just had ruined a lot of friendships, and I ruined one of my friendships with like my best friend, like all-time best friend, did everything together. And like she like told me like whenever we stopped being friends that like, hey, this is something that I think you should look into. And it was like you don't have Jesus in your life, and like that's something that I think you should look at. And I was like, what the heck? Like
What? Yeah. Was she a believer?
she was. Yes, she is. And so she was like kind of encouraging that like towards the end of our friendship. She was like, I think you really need this. Like this is something that you should look at. Like if you ever need to talk about it, like come to me. But like I think we should just take our space for now. And obviously like I'm really hurt by this because like I didn't want to lose my friend.
Yeah.
But
and your friend is telling you to like go believe in this.
Yeah.
You know.
And so it's like
person.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, like I'd been hearing about it, but it's like, what was I gonna do to like take that step, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but that like always stuck with me. Like I think that's such like a vivid part of like my testimony is like because that literally like opened my eyes to like this is something I should look into.
So that friendship and the end of that, like, hey, like you need to like really look into this Jesus guy.
It's like, what am I doing? Because like I never noticed myself being like that rude to people, or like I was never aware of my actions, but this like really like, Channing, what are you doing?
Was it kind of like a slap in the face?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Almost?
Yeah, it was definitely an awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good. I think we all kind of need those awakenings, like, okay, get back on track. I mean, your point, like, get on the track.
Yeah.
Or start heading that way. But, like, take me to the moment where you were like, I need Jesus in my life. Like, I need to make him the boss of my life. Or take me to the steps leading up to that, either one.
Like, whenever I gave my life to Christ?
Sure, or just take me up to, like, the steps of how you got there, or how you got to that place.
Okay, yeah. So, sophomore year came, and I started going to FCS almost every single time, because I was like, okay, I think this is a good place to start, because it's not super heavy, it's fun, and all your friends are there, and so I was just like, okay, I'm going to surround myself with the people here at FCS, and I kind of had rekindled that friendship a little bit more with my best friend, and she was friends with a bunch of people, and I just like through connections I met a bunch of people, but her friends were obviously very godly, and that's who she surrounded herself with. And so those are the people I met. And then at the beginning of like 2024, so like halfway through like my sophomore year, I think it was Christmas during my sophomore year, I got a Bible. Because I was, like...
How'd you get it? You just bought one?
I just went to Barnes & Noble and bought one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think you told me about that, and I was like, what prompted you to just get a Bible? How did you even know?
Well, I was just like... I kept seeing, like... I saw this TikTok. I don't remember what verse it is. Like, I definitely should remember what verse it is. But it was like... Sometimes you have to go through the hardest things to realize, like... what like the mistakes that you made. And so it was like something along that line, and so I was like, what, like this is a Bible verse, and now I was like, this book of knowledge is gonna clock me. And so I was like, you know what, I should just go buy a Bible. Like, and so I would text my mom, I was like, hey, can you drive me to Barnes & Noble and let's go buy a Bible? And she was like, okay. So then we went, bought a Bible.
And now, what was your mom thinking about that at the time? Was she like, what is happening?
Well, she knew that I was starting to like question more. She was like, I think it's really cool that like you're getting into it. And I was like, you know what, you buy a Bible too. Like, why don't we both buy one?
Did y'all both bought a Bible?
No, my mom didn't buy one. She was like, I don't know if I want to do that right now. And I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna like force you to do anything, but like I want one for myself. And so that was kind of like my like pre-Christmas present thing. And so that happened. And then the beginning of like 2024 came, and my friend Miranda invited me to go to North Place for youth. This was my first time ever going to any like youth kind of thing.
Church thing at all? Or have you been to church?
No, I had been to church before. I'd gone, I want to say I went on Easter in 2023. And like I had been before that, but just I didn't really remember it. But like this was my first time going to like a youth event, like being like a part of like a church. And obviously I was pretty nervous because I was like, it took me a lot of courage for me to like go, because I was like, I am so like far behind these other kids.
Yeah.
Like I felt so like set back. Like I had a setback. And I honestly think this is what like hindered my faith, or like stopped me like going into it more. Was I was just like, I don't know anything, so like why start? You know, like
Yeah.
I was just like,
That's such a lie.
I know.
It's such a lie from the enemy. It's like, I don't know anything, so like why should I start learning? I'll just stay where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I was just like, well, everybody else knows more than me, and so I just look kind of silly trying to start something. Like I'm too
Yeah.
like clueless to this, and so I just don't know what it is. And so I was just like, I'm just not even gonna try.
Which the funny thing is like people looking at outside in, like even though like you may think like, oh, she's just trying to be new, she's just like, that's what you may think, but like we are so overjoyed to see people like that. And so like from a person that's been a believer for a long time, seeing new people come to Christ, I mean that's why I'm doing this series right now.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I'm having all these people on here, is because like people want to see like the church grow.
Yeah.
The kingdom grow. And so I think that's such a lie from the enemy to say, oh, I mean, you don't know anything, so why learn?
Yeah.
It's
and like
so silly.
like now looking at it from like where I'm at now, seeing other people come to the church and start their faith journey, like it's so nice to see.
Yeah.
But it's like I thought everyone was judging me at the
No,
time.
no,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no, no, no.
I was like, I look like such an idiot. Like
And that's honestly like it's natural to feel that, but I think also part of it is like those are just straight up lies.
Yeah.
From enemy.
Straight up
himself.
lies.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'm not even gonna like start. But like then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. If I don't like it, then I won't go back. But it's like, why not just try it? And so we went with like a pretty big group of us, and then we had gone like a few times more after that, but it's not something I went to like consistently.
What, North Place?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then that was like towards the end of my sophomore year, and then I got into a relationship mid like summer, kind of beginning of summer, and he was like, hey, let's go to church together. So I'm like, okay, cool, like let's go to church together. And at this point I'd been like consistently reading my Bible, praying, things that like I'd really never done before. And so I was like, you know what, yes, I'm gonna go. And we went to this church, and it was church. I didn't love it, but I was just like, yeah, like I'm gonna go. And then after that relationship ended, I was like in like a season of like kind of sadness. I lost a bunch of like friends that I was really close with, and that like it just hurt like not having them in my life anymore. And so I was like, okay, kind of back to day one, losing all my friends. And so I was like, you know what, God's got me. And so, but through all this, I did meet one of my great friends, Ethan, and he like, we were in FCS together. I'd become an officer for FCS. And so we had like met through FCS, but we had become close through all of this. Like I honestly don't even know how or why, but we did. And he was just like, hey, come to Gateway. And I'm like, cool, like I'll go to Gateway. And then I came to Gateway, and I literally like loved it day one. I had met Hannah before because she had gone to FCS before. And so I talked to Hannah a few times, and so I came here, and it just felt like natural. It felt good. It felt like home. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep coming back. And it was like the second Wednesday in like November. And I was sitting there, and we had like a moment of like silence, like just with ourselves, with our thoughts. And Colin was, you know, going over his thing, and he was like, if you want to give your life to Christ, like just say this prayer. And I was like, I've never like genuinely said that prayer. Like I've been like, oh yes, I want to, but like it was never like, yeah, I'm gonna give my life to Christ right now. And so during that, like, I said that prayer, and, like, I walked out of that building, like, completely different. I was like, I'm done, like, carrying all these things, carrying all this baggage, and I was just gonna, like, surrender to, like, his design, and, like, that was, like, the day I, like, decided, like, I didn't want to live, like, the old me anymore. And so this was just kind of, like, an awakening, like, you're new, like, you're made new, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool to see. And for the listener, Ethan came on episode 5, I think, of
Yes.
Fresh Faith. So a few episodes back. But
Yes.
but it's so cool to see how God put him in your life through somebody. And I think it just starts from somebody who's been changed by Jesus, and then that person change another. It's just it's a ripple effect. It's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see. And now, like, looking back, how have you seen your life change? Like, have you just seen, like, drastic difference in what you once lived?
Yeah, like, I think in my, like, relationships, everything's changed, because, like, I never really had, like, a community of, like, people in my life. And, like, I think community is so, like, important for, like, your testimony. I think it's a really big part of mine. And, like, I met some really great people. Like, I met you, and I met your family, and I met Mia, or I knew Mia, but we didn't become close until I came to Gateway.
Yeah.
And then I met Ethan, and, like, all of these people that are, like, they fill themselves up with God. And, like, that's, I think, being around them, I wanted to be more, like, I wanted to be closer to him just being around them. And so my community before, like, they supported my actions of, yeah, go talk bad about that person, go, you know, do this, do that, who cares, like, it's your life, go live it, whatever. But it's like, that was the way I lived before, and, like, I was living for the world, and I was living to, like, there was no purpose in my life. I felt like I had no purpose, but now it's like I know my purpose, and I know my calling, and, like, God's calling me to spread his word, and to spread his love, and to, like, teach others about him. Like, I know that, like, that's part of my calling. And so I just found, like, I have a purpose now. Like, I feel like I have a purpose now, and I didn't before. And so I think that's definitely the biggest change that has come from all of this.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And now, tell me what about your family? Like, have they, like, seen a change in you? Have they, like, wanted to start going to church, been interested in it, or not so much?
Well, it's really hard to get them to go. They're pretty stubborn people, but I mean, they definitely have seen a change in me. Like, it's very obvious, like, the way that I live now, the way that I do things, like, but it's also still hard to talk to them about it, because it's like they don't understand. Like, I don't think they necessarily understand how, like, depressed I was before, and how much better I am now, to, like, see that, like, the big change. But it's like I see my big change, but I just don't know how much they see it. But I definitely do think that they think I'm a happier person now. Gotcha. I don't really keep up with my mom all that much, just because it's really hard to, like, talk to her about it.
Sure.
My dad does go to church. Like, I brought him to church with me a few times, and we, like, go on holidays. But other than that, like, it's kind of hard to bring them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's sometimes with a new believer and someone who didn't grow up in the church, I think that's always a little difficult sometimes.
It is, yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on this podcast, and I thank you so much. Do you have anything else that you want to share for the listener?
My biggest thing is that you're just never too far gone. You're never too messed up. You're never too clueless or naive to come into a relationship with Christ. Like, it is not nobody's going to judge you. God's people, they're not God's people if they are going to judge you. But, like, they're not going to judge you. They're going to encourage you, and they're going to be there for you. And, but at the end of the day, if God is all you have, then you have all you need. And so
that's right.
And so I think that's something that I want to preach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not really.
Sweet. Well, I thank you guys, for the listener, for listening to this podcast. I thank you, Channing, again, for coming on. It's been a joy. And stay tuned to what's next on the Unshaken Truth podcast. It's been a joy. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Channing. It's definitely been fun.
Yeah.
So God bless. See you guys in the next one.